thing that I suppose you need to know about the Yamnaya is that they really invented a way of life. They were revolutionaries. Their ancestors had always stayed fairly close to the river valleys in which they lived, because there are these rivers that irrigate the steppe, running mainly north-south. And they mainly settled in those river valleys. They might have strayed out into the grasslands every now and then when the grass was grazed down at home, if they needed more food for their herds. But they always came back, and their villages or their settlements were inhabited all year round. The Yamnaya did something different. They went out into the grasslands, which is a very hostile environment, gets very cold in winter, very hot in summer, and there's no shade, no hiding place from, potentially hostile enemies. And they stayed there all year round, and they were mobile, and they moved cyclically with their wagons. They had wheeled technology. They had the wagons, and that were drawn by oxen. And they built campsites, and then they moved on, and they knew where they were going, to the extent that they always headed for places where there was enough water in the summer months and where there was not too much snow cover in the winter months, so their animals could graze. And in inventing this new way of life, they essentially unlocked the huge reserves of energy in those grasslands in a way that nobody had been able to do before them. And you can see that in very concrete terms. They are their remains of these people who lived, before the beginnings, long before anything we would call medicine. They lived quite a long time. Archaeologists have found people aged 60 and over, even people aged 70 and over. From that culture, from that time. They had very strong bones and teeth. They were exceptionally tall, not only the men, but the women too. Not everybody, of course, but that was the tendency. And they, once they had emerged on the steppe, they underwent quite a rapid population explosion, which meant that they needed more space in order to graze their much larger herds on. So they moved out. And they moved out both east towards Asia and west towards Europe, and carried the Indo-European languages with them. So that is the kind of big bang, if you like, that happens at the beginning of this story. The Yamnaya are only the first chapter in a way, and according to some, not even the first, because it's then their descendants who carry the languages further afield. They probably get as far as Hungary, which is the edge of the Carpathian Basin, which is the edge of the steppe where it gives way to the temperate forests of Europe. They probably didn't go further. These were steppe specialists. They were not adapted to forest realms. But their descendants, looks like they may have interbred with the farmers of the neighboring forests. And their descendants who, inherited skills from both sets of people, then moved into those forests and carried descendant languages further. So you're looking at a story that took place over many generations, many different but related cultures, but the ultimate result is that the Indo-European languages are spoken the length and breadth of Eurasia,